I'm very interested in the interaction between the the video media and then the human being, and then the sort of environment in which they sit in, and then how that all kind of comes together to create this sort of complete world. And I really relish the challenge of making that world.
Can we talk a little bit about Cursed Child and kind of how you got involved in that project?
With The Cursed Child, I think the aim was to create a very exciting show for an audience made out of all the things theatre does really well, like in a really honest theatre way, by using actors and scenery and movement in an incredibly creative fashion, rather than relying on extensive automation and complicated, expensive tricks, sort of almost like an old theatre way. So I think the idea of video to begin with was not really part of Cursed Child, because that wasn't what they wanted their world to be. But then the effect that video delivers in The Cursed Child was the only way that they could think of delivering that effect. So we came in to basically try and do video that didn't look like video. So I almost consider it a lighting effect, because it's at that kind of intersection between video design and lighting design, and you just kind of don't quite know who is doing what, which is the sort of perfect thing about it, that if someone were to leave that show not realizing there was a video designer in it, like weirdly, I would have done my job really well, because it's creating like a palpable sense of magic by hiding your tricks. Like within the architecture of the building, for example, the kit that delivers the video is very hidden and very kind of built in and absorbed. So you don't walk into a technological space when you walk into any of the Cursed Child theatres. You walk into a theatrical, magical space. And then everything just sort of comes out of thin air.
Did you have to remap each theater that the show went to?
Yeah. So luckily, obviously the scenery stays the same. I'll correct myself. The scenery does not stay the same. It gets wider, it gets shallower, but the look and the feel is absolutely the same. It's the same design, but a bit bigger, a bit narrower, a bit taller, a bit shorter. But that doesn't mean, because the whole process of making the effect is so reliant on highly accurate 3D models, that we need to dig right into engineers' 3D drafting. It's a very complicated thing to model. That is what it takes. It takes sort of 2 to 3 weeks to do all the modeling, but then actually 3 days to do the animation, which is the sort of hilarious thing, that actually the prep is very extensive. And then, if your models are good, if your plans are good, then you arrive on site and it works, in theory.
Digital components have become a much bigger thing in Broadway shows in the past few years. How much, what realm does that open up for set design and really bringing these stage plays to life?
Well, I think the increase of digital technology, digital scenery, whatever you want to call it, projection in Broadway and West End has sort of opened up new possibilities for the designers and also for the audiences. So we can create worlds that can shift and transform and change in ways that just wouldn't have been possible beforehand. And I think it can make a kind of theatre space that's really one like of the mind or in the imagination, not just a room on stage, but a sort of psychological space for drama to sort of unfolding, which I think is sort of like a very natural thing for a performance space to be.